Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to walk you through a really powerful technique in Power BI, how to create a dynamic legend in a stacked bar chart so you can easily switch the legend between different fields like region, product, or category just with a click. By the end of this tutorial, you'll know how to make your dashboards cleaner, more interactive, and a lot more flexible for your users. Let's jump right in. So let's say you already have your data loaded in Power BI. For this example, our data table tracks sales by region, product, and category. You might have data like North region sold product A in electronics for 120 or South region sold product D from furniture for 110. This simple structure is great for showing how our products are performing across different areas and categories. But when it comes to charting, specifically with stacked bar charts, sometimes you're forced to pick just one field for your legend. That's a bit limiting, right? What if you or someone viewing your dashboard wants to see sales breakdown by category one moment and by region the next? That's where a dynamic legend comes in. The main trick to making this happen is using field parameters in Power BI. This is a relatively new and super useful feature that lets you create a single selector for different fields. Think of it as giving your viewers a remote control for the legend. To get started, head over to the Modeling tab at the top and then click on New Parameter and select Fields. This initiates creation of a field parameter which we'll use as our legend selector. Give this parameter a clear name like Legend Selector so it's easy to understand later on, especially if other people will be using your report. Now Power BI will ask you which fields you want to include as legend options. In our dataset, we'll select region, product, and category. You can think of each of these like different sets of colored pencils you might want to use to highlight your chart. Once you've checked the boxes for these fields, click Create. Now, a couple of really helpful things just happened automatically. First, Power BI created a new table called Legend Selector, which contains your selected fields. Second, it dropped a slicer onto your canvas for you, letting you choose between those fields in your report. Don't rush past this, check out the slicer and make sure the fields you wanted are included. Alright, moving on to the main event, building the stacked bar chart itself. Insert a stacked bar chart onto your report page. For the x-axis, drag in sales since that's what we're measuring. On the y-axis, let's use region for now, but you could pick any dimension you want that makes sense to fix, whatever's most useful for your presentation. And here's the magic. For the legend, instead of picking a single field like before, drag in the legend selector parameter you created. This is what will let the chart respond dynamically to whatever is selected in the slicer. Now take a moment to test it out. This is actually pretty cool to see the first time. Use the Legend Selector slicer to pick region and watch as your bars are instantly colored and labeled by region. Switch it to product and now your chart shows the breakdown by different products, no extra work required. Try category and your chart reacts again, coloring by categories like electronics or furniture. You can see just how flexible this dynamic legend makes your visual, like having 3 charts in one, but without cluttering your report space. The big benefits here. First, you only need a single chart instead of building a separate one for each dimension, which keeps your report much cleaner and easier to navigate. Second, it hands control to your end users or audience, letting them decide what breakdown is most meaningful to them in real time. And finally, it just looks and feels more professional and interactive, which is always a win when sharing dashboards with colleagues or clients. And that's it, you've just made your Power BI stacked bar chart way more dynamic and user-friendly using field parameters. If you found this helpful, please give the video a like, and if you have any questions or tips of your own, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe for more Power BI tutorials like this one. Thanks for watching and happy dashboarding.